The Locked On Podcast Network presents the College Sports Big 3 in 30. The three biggest stories in college sports. From our local experts at the Locked On Podcast Network. We bring you the real story. Why it matters, what's next, who wins the big game, and more, all in 30 minutes. The College Sports Big 3 in 30 starts now with the biggest story in college sports. You are Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Oregon Ducks.
A couple of weeks ago, if Anthony Jones had decided to commit, I have it on good authority, it would have been Alabama. The good news for the Ducks, that didn't happen, and there was a late change in the winds. Yesterday, I talked about the crystal ball coming from 24/7. I'd heard from a source as well that he was going to pick the Ducks. He does so on the Pat McAfee show yesterday, and it's the second five-star player in the trenches to commit on McAfee's show to Oregon this year. So, I'm not the biggest McAfee guy personally. I don't watch his show. I sometimes like him on game day. I sometimes don't. I do like that he adds more interest, hype, and intrigue to the sports recruiting efforts in the summer months. And so if it helps get that many more people aware that a big name committed to the Ducks, hey, I'm here for it. And he's having fun with it. So Anthony Tank Jones, as he is known, this is lining up to be, as my guy Zach Neal pointed out yesterday, an all-name class for Oregon. You've got Emmanuel Ihanacho, who I think will go by Nacho. You've got Jet Washington, Bryson Beaver in the fold, because why the heck not? It's just that much fun. And now you have Tank Jones. Tank Jones is a quintessential college football name. I want all of my offensive linemen and defensive linemen, and he's a defensive lineman, of course, I want them all to be named Tank Jones. This is a great pickup for the Ducks for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're back inside the top 10 nationally, where I expect them to finish. Big day on Saturday. Devon Benjamin, Deuce Gerald's four-star defensive back and defensive lineman, both committing. Oregon's got to beat out some heavy hitters, as you would expect. Gerald's is down to Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan, Ole Miss, and LSU. Devon Benjamin's got interest from Washington, Texas, Michigan, and Miami, according to 24/7. I feel more confident about Benjamin. I think Oregon's in a good place for both. As long as they pick up at least one, it will be a good weekend. If they pick up two, I'm going to be in some kind of mood come Monday. But Jones has got Oregon back inside the top 10, number 8 nationally, according to 24/7 Sports. He's a 24/7 Sports 5-star composite edge player, number 4 at his position nationally, top 20 overall. He was among, or maybe the top uncommitted player in the class of 2026. This is such a great poll for Oregon to get recruiting momentum back. And remember, the last time the Ducks picked up a 2026 commit, it came in a batch of 3 back in early July. I'm just saying, you had Tommy Toffee, you had, wait for it, 5-star Emmanuel Ihanacho, who committed on the Pat McAfee show. Oh, and you had a 4-star defensive back. Just a few similarities. If you think those things can ever be cyclical and whatnot. But Ihanacho was as fired up as anybody. Tweeted out a hilarious video, and it was kind of excited delirium, it looked like. And, he'd hinted at this a while back that, Oregon has another top 5 class coming. You'd certainly have to land both guys this weekend if that is going to become a possibility. But, Jones gives the Ducks instant momentum, a bolster in the recruiting rankings. And let's not forget, don't get all caught up in the numbers. Remember, dude is an elite prospect. And I'll get to his film in just a moment. But the second reason this is such a big win for the Ducks, 2 years in a row, Dan Lanning has walked into Alabama's backyard and has helped everybody realize Nick Saban's not here anymore. Kalen DeBoer and his staff, who of course went down there from Washington, have done a much better job this cycle, and I think will have really good results on the field. I don't know if Saban's there, Oregon lands both Tank Jones and Naeem Offord last cycle. 2 years in a row, you go into Alabama, pull the number 1 player. That's really impressive work by this Oregon staff, especially Jones. And, Offord was a flip from Ohio State. That was a big deal. he can be a Jim Thorpe Award winner for the best defensive back in college football. Jones is a great poll as well because he had been Alabama solid for so long. That's where industry experts thought he was going to go. That's where I'd heard he was going to go. And it seemed like one that, was really on lockdown, that Alabama just had. And yeah, this is a done deal. And Oregon is able to get the late switcheroo. So hopefully that remains through signing day because Jones is, make no mistake about it, an elite defensive line prospect and a unique one as well. 6'3.5", 240 pounds from St. Paul's Episcopal in Mobile, Alabama, top 20 player nationally and number 4 edge overall, as I mentioned. When I watch his highlight film, I see a combination of Jordan Birch and Mateo Uiagalelei. One similarity in particular that stands out between the three of these guys, they can line up in different spots along the defensive front. When you got into what I think they call the NASCAR package, kind of the all pass rushers and speed guys in obvious passing situations defensively last year, Jordan Birch would sometimes slide into the center. Sometimes Jordan Birch wasn't on the field for that particular package, but Mateo showed that he can stand up and slide inside. Jones can do that. He plays with a really aggressive tenacity. He finishes tackles like something is trying to get out of him, which I love. Anytime I see a guy pick up a player the way he does and pile drive him into the turf, I do think of Justin Flo. And Flo, I think, would have been a great player had he not gotten hurt. And so Jones really, really stands out with the versatility and the way that he can rush off the edge. That's what his position, I think, most naturally is. I wouldn't be stunned if he puts on a little more weight and becomes Jordan Birch adjacent, but I see a lot of Mateo Uiagalelei here. There are a couple of highlight plays, particularly where he strings out the run, an area where Mateo, I think, can still improve a little bit. I'll talk about him more later on the show. Jordan Birch, I thought, did a great job of that as Oregon's defensive end for the last couple of years. His ability to just set the edge and just kind of hold the tackle in place is really, really good. Jones has got great hands when he rushes the passer that allows him to use his speed to get by guards when he rushes from that stand-up position. And like I said, he's just violent. He's just a violent player in the best way, of course. So great pickup here for Oregon. They're up to 16 hard commits total in the class of 2026. He becomes the second highest rated defensive player in the class behind Jet Washington, according to 24/7's metrics. I think the composite ranking has Jones a little bit higher than Jet Washington. But, these are the sorts of guys, Jones and Jet and Nacho. These are Kendra Harrison as well, 5-star tight end. They can push for playing time right away. That'll depend on what the position group looks like, how the depth shakes out and such, but physically they've got those sorts of gifts, and this is just a phenomenal pickup for Oregon here to get back inside the top 10 nationally.
Ever wished managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year.
You are Locked On Balls, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers.
Big-time commits for Tennessee and Josh Heupel as Salisi Moa commits to the University of Tennessee, making it the 23rd commit of the class and the 5th top 100 prospect in the class for the Volunteers. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. We'll break down this commitment more here in segment number 1. Practice observations from these two eyeballs from practice number 2 yesterday for Tennessee football fall camp in segment number 2. And then scouting the opponent. We're going to get back to that series here in segment number 3, taking a look at the ETSU Bucks. So Salisi Moa, really big pickup here for Tennessee because, again, Tennessee was always in it. Don't get me wrong, but the favorite was always Utah. Why? Well, he is from just outside Salt Lake City, okay? His father played at Utah. I would go out on a limb here and say all of his friends, all of his family members, certainly his intermediate family, right, or immediate family is all Utah fans. But Tennessee was never out of this. Tennessee was obviously in this one. And I think playing in the Southeastern Conference was a really, really big deal for Moa. And Tennessee ends up beating Utah. And when you think about, like, when it comes down to it, Tennessee or Utah, a lot of people will be like, well, Southeastern Conference, Tennessee, the brand against a team like Utah, a program like Utah. And that's no disrespect to the Utes. I'm just saying, if you have your chance to go to Tennessee or Utah, odds are the top, if you're a top 50 prospect in the country, you're going to pick Tennessee. Like, it wouldn't be close normally, right? Well, this one was a bit of a different deal, okay? And, the Utes obviously were the favorite, and Tennessee just kept going, just kept persisting. And this one went up to the end. Again, there's been a couple like this, right? Braden Rouse, most notably recently. I mentioned Jordan Matthews a couple years ago. Usually, everybody knows what's going to happen before it happens, okay? Days, sometimes weeks in advance, sometimes months, but if you get that too far out, a lot of times that changes. But this, again, was one of those old school recruitments where nobody really knew kind of going up into it until the very last second before teams were kind of tipped off there at the very end. And so credit him, credit his family, and credit Tennessee and Josh Heupel. Again, this is a massive, massive win. Why? Well, Moa is a top 46 player in the country, top 50 according to the Rivals industry rankings. He is a 4-star, number 46 in the country according to the Rivals industry rankings. The second-ranked athlete. Tennessee now has the second and third-ranked athletes in the country, and Joel Wyatt, who just committed to Tennessee a couple of days ago, and now Salisi Moa, and the number one prospect out of the state of Utah. He's ranked number 49 specifically in the Rivals rankings, number 45 according to 247 Sports, and number 35 according to ESPN. The number one ranked prospect in the state of Utah for Rivals and 247, and the second-ranked athlete for Rivals, the fourth-ranked athlete for 247, and the fifth-ranked athlete per ESPN. Of course, this was a Tennessee-Utah battle to the end. Michigan was also involved in this one, Michigan State as well, but nonetheless, it was a Tennessee-Utah battle. So, what's he going to bring to the table? Well, he's 6'2", 175 pounds. There's a lot to like about him in the defensive backfield. There's a lot to like about him at wide receiver, and obviously Tennessee's bringing him in to play wide receiver. He's listed as an athlete, but he is going to join Tennessee's wide receiver class. And this class is starting to look pretty daggone good once again for Kelsey Pope. So I know a lot of fans have a lot of opinions about Kelsey Pope, and right, wrong, and different. That's anyone's prerogative, and that's fine. But what you can't dispute is he's been recruiting really, really well here lately. Okay, go back to Mike Matthews in the previous cycle. Legend Bay, big time recruiting win for Tennessee and for Kelsey Pope. Tyree King, his stock just continues to rise. One of the best wide receivers in the class over here nearby Knoxville Catholic, and now Salesi Moa adding to that mix. And oh yeah, you still have Tristan Keys potentially that is going to be on Tennessee Flip Watch for quite some time, right? So you're doing a really good job from a recruiting landscape. And you look at this class now overall, and this class is starting to turn really, really good. 23 commits for Tennessee, is moved up 12 spots in the national rankings, or excuse me, up to number 12 in the national rankings. So still right around there at the top 10. If you get a Savion Hyder, if you get a Tristan Keys, you're going to catapult yourself in there to the top 10 for sure, right? But you're at number 12 right now following the commit. You move up 2 spots to number 6 in the SEC. And now you have 5 top 100 prospects in your class. Faison Brandon, who's the 11th ranked prospect in the class, according to the Rivals industry rankings. Salesi Moa, who's now at 46. Okay, he becomes your second highest ranked commit in the class. Joel Wyatt, who just committed earlier this week, right? He now becomes your third. He was at number 2. So in the span of a week, Tennessee has produced two of its top 3 prospects in the class so far. So Mo is there at 2. Wyatt is now there at number 3. Braden Rouse is at number 4. He's at 94 overall. TJ White is the 5th highest ranked prospect. He's at 96 according to the Rivals industry rankings. And so you now have 5 players who are inside the top 100. That's pretty good. And oh yeah, Tyree King, who I was just singing the praises of, he comes in there at 128, the Rivals Industry rankings. And then there's Gabriel Ascenda, who's at 226 in the Rivals Industry rankings. So far up because, nationally, not a high ranking for ESPN or Rivals, but at 247 Sports, Gabriel Ascenda's up at number 19 overall. So again, this is just a really, really talented class. And yeah, at one point in time, you could say top heavy a little bit, but it's getting deeper. Ascenda obviously is well thought of by the 247 site, more so than the other two, but he's ranked highly up there. I think Zach Groves is going to be a good player. He's a top 300 prospect. Darion Albert, a defensive tackle, is a top 300 prospect. JB Shabazz just over the 300 threshold, but number 65 from Rivals alone. So just like Gabriel Ascenda, where he was 19 per 247, Rivals, where 247 and ESPN don't have Shabazz ranked in the national rankings in the top 247 or top 300, whatever they do. Rivals 300, he's the number 65. And so it's pretty much the inverse of what Gabriel Ascenda was. So it just goes to show you, depending on where you look, man, these Tennessee prospects in this class, very, very well thought of. Zayden Anderson is a top 330 prospect. Legend Bay, who we already mentioned. Kedrick Golston, inside the top 500. So any way you want to spin it. And again, there's some sleepers down here that I think can be really, really good down the line. The staff loves C.J. Edwards. Can't wait to get C.J. Edwards here on campus. I think the staff really, really likes Ed Baker. He is Tennessee's lowest ranked recruit. I know the offensive line personnel and the staff and Ellerby and his guys really, really like Ed Baker. I think KJ McClain can turn into something down the line for sure. So I'm liking this class. If you can get one of, I'm not going to be greedy here because I don't think it's possible to get both. And somebody was even messaging me yesterday and was asking, because it was a question on the mailbag pod for VolQuest, if you could have one or the other, Savion Hodder or Tristan Keys, who would it be? And all of us kind of answered, well, it would probably be Tristan Keys because Tennessee's proven that they can run the football with anybody. And we think that would make more of a difference. But anyway, if you could get one of those two in the boat, you're looking at yourself, solidifying yourself into a top 10 class in the country. So yeah, this has potential to be one of the best classes for Josh Heupel. Currently sitting at number 12 in the Rivals Industry rankings. You look at the 2025 class, Tennessee finished at 11th. Of course, the high-end guys, David Sanders, Isaiah Campbell, Desan Brain, Marion Dodd, Travis Smith, so on and so forth. You look at 2024's rankings, Tennessee finished 13th. That was headlined by Jordan Ross, Mike Matthews. You look at 2023 rankings, headlined by Nico. Tennessee finished 12th. Again, I like that one too. David Hobbs was in that one. A 5-star as well. And then you go back to 2022, technically his first recruiting class, and that was with James Pierce and Tyree West and so on and so forth. So really, really good looking class, and it got even better. The second highest ranked prospect in the class now for Tennessee, a 4-star, number 46 in the country, athlete who's going to play wide receiver here at the University of Tennessee, Celesi Moa, commits to the University of Tennessee over Utah, who was the obvious favorite in this recruitment.
Gametime makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop the closer it gets to showtime, and you can save up to 60% with their killer last-minute deals. With Gametime, the price you see is the price you pay, no hidden fees. Plus, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with views from the seat, a panoramic view. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last-minute tickets, the lowest price guaranteed.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators.
DJ Lagway at some point last week, might have been Monday, but DJ Lagway at some point last week got banged up, was in a walking boot, and I know that people are talking about, how severe it is. This is a thing that when the injury first went public, we said it here, and it was reported other places as well, that actually, I don't even know if it was publicly reported other places, but we said it here that when the injury first happened, before it went public, I was told, hey, he's probably going to miss the first week of camp. Didn't think it was a big thing. I was told it's not a big thing. And the person that told me it's not a big thing is someone that usually doesn't sugarcoat. So to me, my thought was that's really not too bad. Missing that first week of camp, I don't think is awful, especially because, which Billy kind of mentioned or kind of talked about this possibility. But it was my thought was that this is your first year where you get to go, hey, we've got an FCS opponent to start the year, then a group of 5, then a Power 4 team. So at the beginning of fall camp, you've got the ability to go a little bit lighter than usual. So I'm not too concerned about it because I do think that easing into camp's a thing. Like I go to Giants camp and they ease into it the first few days and they get used to it, they get comfortable, and then they get further and more intense. And Zach Abelverdi reported that DJ Lagway wasn't practicing yet, but has taken the boot off. And I mean, I think for most people, that's a pretty damn good sign about his ability to return. Zach is also the one that when he was the one that broke the story publicly. And when he first reported it, he said, hey, like DJ Lagway's going to miss a little bit of camp, if any time at all, or it's unclear how much he's going to miss, if any at all, which I felt like that kind of aligned with, well, probably missed the first week of camp and that's it. For me, the issue honestly isn't that he's banged up. Again, it's football. And I know like people will talk about the injury prone stuff and some people will harp on it, but sometimes things just happen, right? And if they are unrelated, I'm not going to say that they are unrelated. I'm not going to say that they're related. I'm going to say that I don't know the specifics of DJ Lagway's medical history. I'm not in the room with them with the exam. But I will say that whether they're related or not, it does seem like not all of the injuries that have happened or that he has dealt with are injuries that are super concerning. The shoulder's been since high school. It's never caused him to miss time. The hamstring caused him to miss one game. And I don't know if this calf issue was partially because of the hamstring or whatever it is. I don't know any of that. My concern isn't that he's banged up. It's really not. Like I said, it's football. Guys are always banged up and basically never at 100%. All the time. Again, even if they're full participants, after you've been playing football for a few years and you have the schedule that these teams have, you're going to be banged up. You're going to be sore. You're going to be dealing with stuff, especially as you go later into the season where we saw it happen more this year than ever before. A bunch of guys opted out of the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Game because they played in the national championship 2 weeks prior. And you got less rest time. You're like there's less extended periods of rest there. And so guys now are especially just banged up always. That's how it works. It's a full-time job at this point, even if you're a student. So for me, the concern isn't that he's banged up. I expect guys to be banged up. For me, or not even concern. I shouldn't say concern. The issue isn't that he's banged up. The bigger issue for me is strictly because he was a true freshman last year, a very good true freshman last year, best, arguably, true freshman quarterback in the country. I can't think of someone that was better than him. So he was a true freshman last year, and the mistakes that he made were inexperienced mistakes, right? And the only way to fix inexperienced mistakes is to get experience. That's always been the thing. Every time I've talked about DJ Lagway, I've said, look, he was fantastic for a true freshman. Wasn't fantastic overall, but he's fantastic for a true freshman. The things that he needs to work on are strictly mental and experience things. And the only way to get better at those truly is to go out there and do it. Like get out there, step up and be able to play there. And so for me, my bigger issue is he needs more experience operating an offense and reading defenses. And you can't do that if you're not healthy. Or you can't do that if you're not participating in these practices more than just, hey, I'm doing stretching and jogging with the team. My hope is that Once he's cleared, literally they just go, hey, like you can do dropbacks and you can throw the ball. Get him out there. That's my thought. Like I don't need him to be fully cleared to do everything. Get him fully cleared where he can go through a dropback and he can throw the football, and then get him out there and start running plays. I don't care if you've got to kind of be extra cautious with it. Like if you say, hey, we're not even going to, because oftentimes in practice, you'll see it's, hey, pass rush gets in and then you just one hand touch the quarterback. That's it. You just touch the quarterback and it's dead. That's it. Play's dead. I'm fine with saying, hey, once a defender gets into the backfield, we're going to blow the whistle. Tell him, do not run. Do not try to evade pressure. Do not try to extend the play. Drop back, throw the football. And just work on that. Just work on throwing the football against an SEC defense. For me, if that's the plan, that's cool. Like that's exactly what I'd want you to do. It allows him to do the things I need him to do, which are go out there, get experience, get reps. I know it's not live bullets flying, but it's better than watching it happen or watching film of things happening. It's going out there, seeing it from your eyes, seeing it from your perspective, and playing football. And so if you just get him out there and do that limited work, that's good with me. I don't need him to be doing a ton. I don't need him to figure everything out that he possibly can. Just get him out there and let him just play. Let him drop back, throw the football, call it a day. Defense gets in the backfield, blow the whistle. Don't care. I don't care if they are taking a bad angle and they're not going to touch him. I don't care if he can make a man miss. I don't care if it's a corner and you feel like DJ Lagway at what, 247 pounds he was listed as. I don't care if it's a corner coming in and you go, okay, well, DJ can brush that guy. I don't care. Second they get into the backfield, blow the whistle, call it a play. That's it. Just let him drop back, read the coverage, and throw the football. That's all I need. I trust that he'll go out there and play well. I do. But I want him to be elite, and I think the way to get him there is his mental game stepping up. And the way to get the mental game to step up is just let him go out there and play. That's it. It's honestly, again, it's as simple as that for me.